Oh, I've been waking up under blades, blue blossom days. If only Damocles would hit me back. No alabaster carvings or faces on a farthing would prevent my head from fading to black. And it feels like falling into the sea from outer space in seconds to me. And I play discordant days on repeat until they look like harmony. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. What if I can't get up and stand tall? What if the diamond days are all gone? And who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be well, I know I should be touring. I know these chords are boring, but I can't always be killing the game. No golden grand pianos or voices from the shadows will do anything but feel the same. And it feels like falling into the somewhere way up over the peaks. And I play discordant days on repeat until the tape runs out on me. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. What if I can't get up and stand tall? What if the diamond days are all gone? And who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be forgotten. Nobody told me I'd be begging for relief when what is silent to you feels like it's screaming to me. Well, nobody told me I'd get tired of myself when it all looks like heaven, but it feels like hell. When the river runs dry and the curtain is cold, how will I know if I can't see the bottom? Come up for air and choke on it all. No one else knows that I've got a problem. What if I can't get up and stand tall? What if the diamond days are all gone? And who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be forgotten.
All right, guys, what is going on? What is Gucci? Let me see. Who do we got? We got 20 something. Okay, let me restart the music. All right, second day back, dog. You guys ready? Or are you guys ready or what? Hopefully the mic sounds good. I got some different settings on here. Does it sound good to you guys? Does the microphone sound good to you guys? We should be coming in nice and crispy, like KFC. Unlike a lot of what I was looking at today, price action wise. But anyway, hope you guys had a good weekend. What did you guys do? What did y'all do this weekend? Yeah, Market Maker Monday. What did y'all do this weekend? I need to know. I need to know. I don't know how to say that. What's good, V? Jay, Naruto, Monkey, Shay, Naruto member for 25 months. Look at that. Just over 2 years. Time flies like the stream. I agree. I agree. I don't even think I can pin that. Oh, GG. What's good? Mason, Quinn, 2020, Eberneth, Torty, Kieran, Flacco. Eberneth missed the streams. Did anybody else miss the streams? You guys miss me or what? Appreciate that. I finally got a break from y'all's bullshit. But I guess you got a break from my bullshit too, huh? What's good? Marshall, Lee Bright. Packed up everything, taking a flight to California. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, that's cool, I guess. What are you gonna do out in Cali? You gonna dodge all the heroin addicts and people sleeping in tents and shitting on sidewalks, or what? What are we doing? What are we doing, V? What are we doing out there? Yeah, Eberneth, I was live on Friday, if memory serves. What's good, Sean? 1 year, 11 months, 5 days, said Lee Bright. I don't even know how you found that out. Oh, building a studio. Very nice. Oh, okay. I see what you did there, Lee Bright. I was confused. You meant like back then. Was good, Armani. Yeah, they got more lawsuits coming their way. Class action or whatever, so yikes. 100%. So, but hey, I mean, if the FTC goes through the content, they'll definitely know how to trade if they watch my channel. So, I don't know. Whatever. It's all good, right? Yeah, I thought I was going to be gone all week, but we ended up coming back a day early, so I was like, that's fine. 14-hour driving is a bitch, and I don't recommend it. I do not recommend it. Anyway, let's talk about Dow real quick. Dow was the outperformer. I figured after a while, after I zoomed out, I figured we'd take the highs up here. But by then, it was already really late in this move, and I did not feel like putting any risk on the table. So I just kind of let that go. To me, I just didn't like what we did this morning. I didn't care for it between the three indices. I just didn't like it. So, Armani, welcome to the membership. Be sure to go to your Discord user settings, go to connections, find the YouTube button, and then sign into your YouTube channel. And then once you do that, you'll see the Discord channel to join us. So, welcome. But yeah, so let's go over here for a minute. Friday's close of the 2nd and our open on Sunday here, right? 41,436 to 41,405. So that small gap there. you guys already know how I look at gaps, right? It's a lack of both buy side and sell side price delivery. We have neither. So what happens a lot of these times is what if we gap down and then continued lower, if we're going to seek the liquidity up here, then we would likely do what? Trade through it for buy side price delivery. And then typically we would trade back into it for sell side price delivery. Then we can continue up there. So obviously in hindsight, I mean that's exactly what we did. But again, you already know this, right? I mean, we talk about gaps all the time. Just like on the daily, we have overnight gaps and then we have weekend gaps. Okay? And generally they work the same. They won't always offer this like a, let me go down to a kind of a smaller time frame to show you. Buy side delivery here, sell side delivery here, but this is a relatively small range. Is only like 30 points on Dow. When it is a larger range, it won't always like pass on both sides. Sometimes it'll only trade halfway or just a little bit into it and then go. And that's fine too. And so that's what I was saying a minute ago. By the time we got up here around 10 o'clock and we already traded through and offered buy side price delivery, I figured, okay, we'd probably trade into that and then run for these highs. But to me, I wasn't willing to risk trading that. And this is also like way near. That's definitely a premium of a premium. See that? That's like right at the 75% level. Just not doing that. They're under a lawsuit again. Just go into Google, man. Go into Google. I only hear about things that people tell me. They send me. I don't know why people still do this. I haven't been a part of that company in like 2 years, but people still come to me like, "Hey, did you see this lawsuit? Did you see this class action?" No, I didn't see it until you showed me. So that doesn't surprise me in the least. That doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. So, good luck to them. I mean, they made it this far, so maybe they'll keep going. No matter either way. It does not matter to me either way. But what does matter to me is liquidity, and 56.55 and a quarter is equal lows for ES. That bothered me enough to where I did not want to long. I didn't want to long. Even though I'm still bullish on the higher time frames. I haven't updated my stream deck yet. Drop a like on the stream for me. We got 45, 48 people, only 12 likes. I won't even comment. You guys already know. You guys already know how I feel about your dumb shit. Like, not like in the stream. That's okay. It's okay. So, anyway. It's looking like a sell model. It's looking like a sell model, okay? But let me back up for a minute. The indices this morning were not aligned in the slightest, okay? Meaning if we look at the lows down here, equal lows on ES, Dow, I'm not even sure what time that occurred, like 3:50, 4 o'clock. That's here. 405. So we have higher lows on Dow, right? So that obviously is a signature of accumulation. And that would be mitigation here. I should have woke up earlier, chat. That's what I should have done. Still a little bit sleepy from last week. Anyway, traded through that, back into it, imbalance as well. That is my mitigation model. Perfect. Even though the wicks kind of like overshot that, and I'll zoom in. And a 20 level there too. Jesus. This is what happens when you don't wake up on time, chat. You miss shit. There's 220. So a 20 level inside an imbalance, inside a mitigation, post accumulation. Heading for what? Liquidity. You see how easy that is? You see how easy that is? Look at that. Look at the speed on that. Don't you just love speed, chat? Don't you just love speed? You know I do. Second stage, 2LT Corvette, whatever. All right. Not to brag, but anyway, accumulation there, mitigation model for that liquidity. Perfect. Just buy side delivery, sell side delivery, and then the run. Nasty. But those lows don't align with ES at all. And I don't even know what to do with the Nasdaq down here. I just don't even know. So I was hesitant to long because of ES having these lows, even though I'm bullish on a higher time frame. It's hard for me to trust this as a sell model because of many reasons. And I know I went over this on Friday. When you trade against the higher time frame bias, it's harder, more work against the tide, if you will. Remember the salmon? I actually meal prepped a bunch of salmon yesterday. Swimming upstream. Yeah, you did. That's all good. Can this be named as engineered low on ES? I don't really look at equal lows as a engineered low. That would more so be engineered lows. But yeah. Even if it's all good. It's all good. People have learned from me and gone off to do their own mentorships since I started teaching. Funny enough, I have Facebook. I didn't know I was teaching this long. I'm fucking old, dude. I saw a post from yesterday, a Facebook memory of me posting about a 1 to 3 risk reward from 7 years ago. I was like, Jesus, it's been 7 years already? Golly. I'm getting dusty, chat. I'm getting dusty. Anyway, but yeah, people have been, stealing from me for quite a while. I'm kind of over it. But I was trying to make a point. Oh yeah. The gap up here, right? So if we're going to follow suit with Dow's our leader, which hardly ever happens, but it doesn't mean that it never happens. It's happening today. So to me, I just don't know if the high's been set. And then on top of that, when you go to regular trading hours, I didn't notice this until it was too late. We had a Judas model down here, bro. We had the Judas 831, 842, 852, and 852 is part of the macro. So we run a short-term previous low in the macro, 850 to 910. Look at that. And it is right there. Boom. Look at that. We trade through it. 854. 855 is a new what? 5-minute candle as well. Look at that. Kind of a deep retracement. That may or may not have stopped me out if I took something like that. To be honest, there's a possibility. Actually, not really, unless it was below the low of the mitigation. That I might have let that go. We'll say 50-50 chance this would have broke me even. But I'm just letting you know the Judas model was there. The Judas model does require liquidity. Although we may not have like the cleanest set of highs on a smaller time frame, we do have that gap on both regular trading hours as well as electronic. So that kind of would have been a swinging for the fences kind of day here. But again, to make my point a little bit more clearly, the regular trading hours offered a Judas, but the electronic hours ended up just creating equal lows, and that I don't care for. So, are we going to trade lower to the lows? Probably not. Or are we going to trade to the gap? There is a chance that we could, or we might just trade and dick around in the middle of the range today. So it's hard for me to say. Jordan, I do have some gray hairs in my beard, which that freaked me out when I first saw that years ago. I was like, damn. But what can you do? Miguel says, I'm thinking about opening a real account. What's the minimum amount do you think to trade futures? I'd say at a minimum, honestly, without over leveraging, dude, I'd have to say at least at a minimum, probably about 3,000, maybe closer to 5, I'd say. That might be a lot of money to some people. And that's okay. It was a lot of money to me at one point as well. But futures, legit futures, requires margin. And you got to have some margin. So, but if you don't want to do all that, you just go the funded route. You could go the top step route, and you could do that. So, yeah. What other questions you guys got today? I outlined a lesson plan this weekend. I'm not going to give it to you today. This one I think is going to require a PowerPoint. And I want to see, whenever I do record that, I would also be interested to see if that would make for a good podcast recording. We'll have to see. Would it be better to start with a funded account? I mean, again, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Would I want to stay the funded route? Probably not. Ideally, you do want to have your own account. That way you have your own rules. You could swing trade, you could hold winners instead of like having to constantly cut them. You know what I mean? Yeah, V, you're banned. You're blocked, banned, reported, ostracized, done, cooked, toast. Goodbye. So I know we keep getting like higher highs, and normally that would be a reversal. I'm just not getting reversal vibes here. You know what I mean? We could. I think if I was short already, I think this would be okay. But again, we do have this gap up here. Higher time frame does point to higher pricing. It's hard for me to trust even a sell model. But hey, just like Mark Douglas says, Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Original consolidation down here. I'd say roughly first leg, or first stage, sorry. First stage accumulation. I'd count that probably as reaccumulation. The hard part is looking at manipulation. We don't have previous day's high. We don't have anything. We have, if anything, we have a regular trading hours gap. That's it. So, I think I'll be more convinced we would run the lows if we end up trading through the reaccumulation. I would be somewhat convinced then. Until that point, I can't trust shorts. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? If Dow had equal lows and all of them had traded into the gap up there, I'd feel a little bit more confident about that. But since that gap is there, that's hard for me to justify. What do you guys think? You think I'm right? Or do you think that's a short? $20,040. We can go take a look at Nasdaq actually. We can go take a look over there. What's been interesting the last few days about Nasdaq is the 20K mark. Right? That 20,000 price level. And we meandered around a lot today down there. But yeah, look at the wicks today. Look at this. Look at the wick here and the wick here. That wick right there. Deep retracement. That's pretty sassy. You know what I mean? That's pretty sassy to me. Sometimes that's hard to trade. Lee Bryant wants to short Dow instead? Jeez. That's crazy. I mean, if we've absorbed the liquidity, I could see that. If we had equal lows on an intraday basis, I would trust that way more. But I would say the highs up here, I think Dow has like a lower high when the other indices were higher. I think. So that might be short-term weakness, but target-wise, ES lows are the cleanest. Yeah, Naruto shorts don't make sense to me, so I'm thinking higher. Jordan D says ugly. Ugly. Yeah. Things aren't looking too pretty today. Yeah. If the high has been set, the reason I said for me to be convinced that we would go for the lows, and it's 12:30. So what we would need to do is basically do two things. we would trade through the old accumulation and cross 50%. So if we did that, then yeah, to me, it'd be like, okay, we would trade back into the reaccumulation. That in turn would ideally be distribution to then go lower like that. Does that make sense? I could see that. Not now, not this moment. I'm saying if we had done this. So I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm saying. Instead of watching this, right? Instead of being in front of the charts just like this, what I would do instead is probably just put an alert at that low and then just walk away. And then, walk away. And then at some point, if it happens to do that, we would get the alert on the way lower and say, okay, let's reassess and go from there. But until that happens, I can't short. I mean, I could short, but I'm not going to. I just can't do it. I can't put real risk there. So what we will do is put an alert at the open of Sunday to see if we cross that. So this we can watch. You guys good with that? Yeah. Higher high on NQ. Not a very clear and obvious gap over there. Like ES, so. Yeah, I'd set an alert. Oh, did I delete it? Yeah. I'd basically do that. And just walk away here. Probably read. Dude, I should have told you guys about that bookstore I went to. So mind you, when I was in Tennessee, okay, and I don't want to be mean. Okay, so don't take this as me being mean. But I will tell you, there are some cities and towns out there, bro, that shit, I thought I was poor back in the day. You know what I mean? Like I thought I was like struggling 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Dude, I was not in comparison to some people out there. Man, a lot of the places that I went to, the stores like don't even open till like 10 a.m. Some of the businesses, they're only open like 2 days a week. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But anyway, I go to this bookstore and it was like $1, $2, $3, and $4. That's it. The most expensive book they have is $4. So I'm paying anywhere from $1 to $4 per book. And I think I posted that on my Instagram story last week when I was there. I bought like 4 or 5 books for like $13. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I love bookshops like that. And I was at one not yesterday. Saturday. Yeah, I was at a bookshop on Saturday here in Houston. And it was kind of similar. Just they don't even bother pricing them. It's just like, oh, paper is $2 or $3, hard covers like $4, and then that's it. I'm like, dude, You could drop like $20 and be set for like a year. I got I think a biography of Roosevelt, and then another. I have like 4 different biographies of Teddy Roosevelt. I picked up a copy of Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. There was a book that was published in the 60s about Winston Churchill. It was Winston Churchill's doctor. So I got that. I'm like, this is old as shit. Let me pick this up. It was cool. Probably won't read it, but just to have it. And then I picked up a John Maxwell book for like $2. One of the ones that I don't have already. I think it was Talent is Never Enough, or Talent is Not Enough, something along those lines. I can't remember if there was another one. When was the last time I looked at gold? Bro, gold is a monster. And if you're not already long, what are you supposed to do? I guess you could probably day trade gold, but I just don't trade gold and silver like I used to. I like just sticking to the indices for the most part. I tell you what, if NQ stays like this with the higher high here and ES can't do it, that that may be a signature that we could look for lower pricing. So we probably will not find out in the next 20 minutes. In the next 4 we probably won't find out in the next 4 candles. So what other questions you guys got? What else you got, chat? Honestly, I don't even know what's on here. I don't even remember what that's from. April 23rd. It was a couple weeks ago. It wasn't bad short term. Long term, that was not good. But anyway, what are you supposed to do with this, bro? What do you do with that? Like even the this that's probably why people call it a pair, XAU USD, but I won't even get into it. Even just Oanda's version of gold. What do I do with that? What do I do, John? Besides maybe day trade it. We're just off of all-time highs. Not something I'd short. I feel too late to long. So that to me is just day trades, honestly. I, as always, would reference silver. London is what took us higher. And New York didn't do a lot. So I wouldn't even have been able to trade that because all that happened while I was sleeping. Um, ooh, silver. Has been a little bit disappointing. We traded, what is that, the first? So Thursday last week, we traded back into the inverted mitigation here. We just been hanging out. Yeah. So that's kind of rough. I can't do anything with that. Unless there was absolutely a clean setup, like a buy model or a sell model, some sort of like equal highs or lows, I'd probably do something with that. The way it is now, no. Can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. So for now, this may change, but for now, ES has failed to make a higher high in sync with Nasdaq. I would note that. Up until if that high gets taken, then that's okay. But as of now, it hasn't done that. Yeah. This is possible. I'll give you both sides, okay? But I'm not going to say I told you so later. This is looking like it's becoming a inverted mitigation. Right? Cuz high, low, higher, high, we traded through it, back into it. But if it's not going to trade lower, this could be an inversion to go higher. I'm not going to trade that. I'm not telling you to long that. I'm just giving you what I'm thinking. What are some of the possibilities here? Well, if I'm not going to short because we have this gap up here, if we are going to trade to that, then what would be some signatures? Well, that short-term low was taken. We're in the mitigation and it's not trading lower. So if it's not going to go lower, if it's likely to go higher, then that should be a inversion. But now think about that for a second. If you were to long this, look how close you are to the high of the day. Here's our low. Here's our high. Okay, there's your range. Look how close you are to the high of the day. It's just, for me, on a personal level, I have a hard time longing near the high of the day after a significant run. So today, like 55 up to 98. So about a 40, little over a 40 point rally. That's hard for me to trust longs. So drop some ones in the chat if you guys agree. Is that hard to long? Is that hard to trust longing when you're at the high of the day and we've already seen a significant price run? Maybe that doesn't bother you. Maybe it doesn't. But for me, that bothers me. It just feels like I'm longing even in this overall range we're in a premium. So it's hard to trust. You know what I'm saying? Like these bitches. Just hard to trust, dog. Hard to trust. It's not impossible. You know what I mean? It's just difficult. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Lee Bright says, I can't long high. I just can't. Can't do it. Could, just unwilling. We can, just unwilling to do it. So we'll We'll see if this ends up being a springboard, a launch for 705. New 15-minute candle, by the way. That is 1246. So this would be a new 15-minute candle here. A imbalance that overlaps with the discount end of the inverted mitigation. How you like that? How do you like that, chat? Does that sound like some trickery, like some sorcery, like some magic shit? Because it's not. It's just inversions are just like every other concept. Inversions are hard to understand and they're hard to trust at first. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see it over and over and over again, that's when you get those signatures in price. This reminds me that one time I showed you guys I was paper trading and I was just fucking around on Nasdaq, and this is exactly what I had done. I shorted the mitigation on a 1 minute time frame, not a 5. I had shorted the mitigation, got a break even, or I took a small loss that was a break even because I didn't let it get to my stop loss, and then I re-entered long instead of short, and then the market rallied. I think that was only a few weeks ago. And this reminds me of that. This reminds me of those times. And it would only take 7 points to get up there to 705. So that's not unreasonable. You know what I mean? So if we have a new high here, I wouldn't worry about making a lower high because now we're back in sync, and that's fine. And then we have, okay, so here, this is what we can watch now. We have the 10-minute macro coming up, or 20 minutes, sorry. The last 10 minutes of the hour, 20-minute macro. That's coming up in the next 40 seconds. So we'll watch that and then we'll hop off. Probably going to go to the grocery store, dude. I am like out of water. I'm on my last Saratoga, dog. I'm on my last one. And it's warm now because I opened it this morning. Why do you guys keep retracting your messages? Are you guys like writing up some bullshit? What are you guys doing over there? Or maybe you typed a banned word. I don't know. The inverted mitigation looking nice to fill that gap. Well, yeah, that's pretty much what I explained earlier. When we were right inside, let me zoom in. When we were right inside this, that's what I was saying. Like, this is starting to look like an inverted mitigation. And then once we launched, I pointed out this imbalance here, saying that imbalance is at the discount end of the inverted mitigation. So we should trade higher. We should not. I would say we can come back into the inverted mitigation, but I would say we shouldn't trade back into this imbalance here. We shouldn't. Obviously, the market can do what it's going to do. What it's going to do. But we left a little sliver down here open. little sliver of price right there. So yeah, we should launch. But if we don't, I guess I'll be wrong. But I'm not in a trade either way, so it will not hurt me financially if this goes lower. And I'm still long like 95% of my stocks account. So if anything, I would like for us to go higher so I can make a little bit more monies. Love that. Don't you guys love making monies? And then depending on how long I hold, we might start getting some dividends too. A little bit of icing on the cake. Here's our macro time, by the way. Let me actually go down to a smaller time frame. Just so we can see. That's basically our time window here. Well, 50 to 110. Okay. All right, now we wait. If we do end up getting 705, I'll tell you another reason why we shouldn't trade back into that imbalance. But I could still be wrong, so we're going to see. Speaking of Libright, later he's gonna send me the recordings, so I will post them to the channel later. If not today, at least soon. I'm not gonna promise today, but if he sends them to me, I'll post them soon. Dow came up for those highs. That's not a shock. That's not a shock to me, at least. Let me ask you guys this. Since we're here, there's like 70 people. We're just waiting to see what happens. I really don't have much else for you. I can yap all day, but let me know what you guys are currently reading. What are you currently reading this week? Either today or this week, or like what's the current book that you're on? I'm in on quite a few, honestly. I just started the Crucible by Arthur Miller. I'm like almost halfway done with The Great Gatsby. I'm trying to figure out why people like The Great Gatsby so much. I have yet to find an appreciation for The Great Gatsby. Jordan's gonna order Mexican food, bro. That reminds me. When I was in Tennessee, my dad told me about this tray, not tray, but like a plate of food that the waitress brought to another table, and he like asked her, he was like, "What is that?" And she's like, "This isn't even on the menu. This is like some custom shit." And I forget what it was called. She told me the name in Spanish. I don't even remember what the name was. But I posted on my story. Dude, it was like rice, cheese, like the queso cheese, the liquid cheese, all in it, and it had everything. Steak, shrimp, chicken. Everything was grilled too. So like all that shit was grilled, grilled vegetables, grilled broccoli, grilled cauliflower, grilled carrots. And it was just like a smorgasbord of Mexican food. It was a lot too. It was a lot of food, but I loved it. How successful people think. Love that. I love that one. I actually found a leather version of that one. Ego's the Enemy reread. Very nice. Shay reading the Bible. Well, which book, my friend? There's like quite a number of books in there. Bible has a lot of books, my friend. Which one? Armando says The Great Gatsby is overrated. Again, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, are we gonna end with a bang? Like, what's going on? And I'm like halfway through it, and I just can't seem to like see what people like about it. I'm like, are we get when do we get to the good part? So I'm kind of like struggling with that a little bit, but I'll push through. Nice, Naruto. Do I have some videos for explaining macros? I know this is the 10 last minutes and the 10 first minutes of an hour, right? Why is this important, and what to look or what to expect inside the macro? Well, excuse me, I don't know if you heard that. Jordan, I don't know if Jordan's keeping up with the document anymore. I know I haven't updated the document, but it's basically algorithmic price delivery. That's the way I look at it. I don't think every macro is created equal, but you know, you're basically trading the wicks of an hourly candle. There's an indicator that we had. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I deleted it on accident or what. I'll have to get it back. John Doe, I think, in the Discord had posted a while ago, and we have it. But like, if I just let's just say copied and pasted, that's probably the closest I'm going to be able to get. But it would look something like that. And so every hour, basically, and then that's what I was explaining a little bit earlier. I don't know if you were here. Like, for example, that this morning, our 9 o'clock macro, which is 8:50 to 9:10, you can tell what it did. I don't know why TradingView keeps putting it in the front. This is outrageous. We ran a short-term low, rallied, traded into an imbalance. This is also the Judas model in the regular trading hours. So that Judas model occurred inside of a macro. That's usually what you want. So macros will typically deliver some pretty clean price action. Not all the time, but a lot of the times they will. So that's kind of the quick and dirty version of it. And yeah, I think it's like work for wisdom or some shit. Ryan is having putting out a new book later this year. And I will be doing the same thing with not releasing a book, but I'm saying I will buy 5 copies the same way I did his other books to get a manuscript assigned. All the books are signed and numbered, and then you also get a signed page of the original manuscript. I like collecting stuff like that because Ryan's one of my favorite authors. He's not a complete goober. Sometimes he says some goober shit, which is like, okay, Ryan, come on. But 98% of his stuff's pretty good. It's pretty good. And Wisdom is the fourth book of the 4, because it's the Cardinal Virtues series: Wisdom, Courage, Justice, and Temperance. So Wisdom is the last one. It was Discipline is Destiny, or no. Hell, I don't know which one was first. It was either Courage is Calling, and then Discipline is Destiny, and then Right Thing Right Now. I think he took an extra year for Right Thing Right Now. And then Wisdom should come out later this year. So I'll have all 4. You know, his bookshop is only like 2.5 hours away from me. Mushashi. Nice. The Psychology of Money. Not bad. Overrated, but an easy read. I read that in like 2 days. The Book of Matthew. Nice. Yeah, something with wisdom. Yeah. We all need a little bit more wisdom, Mason. Omar says Trading in the Zone. Yeah, I'm actually in a reread of that one as well. But yeah, the Disciplined Trader was solid, bro. Super solid. I loved it. We got another 7 minutes or so before this macro is over. I'll see where we're at by the time we end. And again, I will tell you why I told you I didn't want to see us trade back into this imbalance. Would you be excited to know why I would say something like that? If it holds, of course. I mean, if I'm wrong, then it's like, well, there's really no lesson in there. I try. Oscar, I did talk about gold earlier. I can't do anything with gold. Higher time frame, we're off of all-time highs. I don't want to short that, and it's too late for me to long in a swing trade. So I'd rather just day trade gold. But even today, it moves so much during London. For me, I couldn't do anything in New York. So I know a lot of you guys like gold, but I can't trade everything every day with insane 100% accuracy. It won't happen. Okay. I'm pretty good. I'm not that fucking good. All right. I have some skills, but I have limitations as well. "48 Laws of Power." Very good. I have a leather bound version of that one too. Probably, I'd say one of the greatest books of our lifetime. 48 Laws of Power. That's why we don't trade every day, right? But yeah, 48 Laws, one of the greatest books of our lifetime, easily. I did enjoy Laws of Human Nature, not as much as Laws of Power, but Human Nature one was good. The whole idea about masks and all that other stuff. I have notes on it. But that was like one thing I do remember. You know, people wear masks and you got to see through the spectacles that people portray. You know what I mean? We only got a few minutes left. Really haven't done a lot up here. Nasdaq is the one that continued to rally. Dow's kind of like struggling up here. It definitely did not get to 705, but we'll give it a couple more minutes. What's this new book he's working on, Mason? If he does sign copies of that one, I'll get one. There was when I was in his bookshop, when I was in Ryan's bookshop a couple years ago, they did have a signed 48 Laws of Power, but the shit was like $60. I'm like, okay. I like you, Robert. You're a great writer, but holy shit, bro. $60? Jeez. It's like, I like you, man, but I don't like you that much. You know what I mean? I don't like you that much, big fella. We're starting to get a little pumped here, dog. Right near the end of the macro. Now, how did I know? Let me ask you this in closing. When I told you I didn't want to see us trade back into this imbalance, and we didn't, and we traded higher, why do you think I said that? I gave you one reason earlier already. I gave you one reason already. What was that reason? It's the imbalance itself. And I pointed out that we did what? That we had left a portion open. Remember? Remember, I was like, yeah, we left a little sliver up down here open, right? Why else would I not want price to trade back into that imbalance? Oh, Law of the Sublime. That does sound familiar. I'd probably read that. But hopefully it's not 700 full pages. I mean, dude, I can only read so much, man. I can only read so much before the text starts just looking like gray lines, like on my chart. I can only read so much before everything just becomes one long word. You know what I mean? Your fucking eyes start to melt. All right, 30 seconds left in this 1 p.m. macro. What's the answer, chat? Why would I not want price to trade back into that imbalance? And we didn't. We got close, but we didn't. Why would I say that? Come on. You guys have been learning from me for years. What's the answer? Oh, yeah, Mason. I have We Who Wrestle with God, and I liked it. First 10 pages, I loved it. And then I just realized, like, bro, this is a very long book. Very long book. And the more I read Jordan Peterson, the more I start to like talk like him too. Which is kind of scary. But I love Jordan Peterson. Dude's a G. In bullish conditions, down candles get respected. You know, honestly, I didn't even see that. And we're pretty much done with the macro. Doesn't mean we can't continue to rally, but the 20-minute time window is now over. And you can tell that what did we do? Or you can tell, excuse me, what we did during that macro. What did we do? We traded higher. Okay, there it is. All right, so in closing, I told you I didn't want to see us trade back into this imbalance. Why? Man, you cannot see that, can you? All right. That should be a little bit easier to see, huh? Low, high, lower, low. See these lows over here? That got swept with that. We traded through that at 1250. So we can trade back into it, but we should not trade to the low end of this mitigation, huh? We have a mitigation with an overlap of an inverted mitigation, huh? Boom! Magic, baby. Magic. No way, John. You're the market maker. No, I'm not. I'm not. I just look at price. See where we should go, where we shouldn't go. Think in probabilities and go with that. I'm not always right. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I tell you, I wouldn't want us to trade back down here. And then boom, we get back down there. It's like, okay, well, I'm wrong then. You know what I mean? But you got to watch us deliver somewhat higher. All of like 6 points. Okay. $300 a contract. That's nothing fancy. But if there's at least one thing you learned today, it's concepts that overlap. You learn through my experience, because I told you what, even though we do have equal lows, original consolidation, accumulation, reaccumulation, what did I tell you up in here? I said, there's no manipulation. There's no high that we took. There's only regular trading hours gap, right? Fat range here. Okay, well, what makes this the high? Or what makes this the high? Well, I don't know. I don't know. So if we're not going to make a high, or at least we cannot justify a high being set, and I told you about this gap, we have no buy side, no sell side delivery, there is a chance we could trade lower, but there's a chance we could trade higher as well. So what do I do with that? I don't do shit. So then we have to wait. All right, we're either going to trade below reaccumulation, which would become distribution or redistribution to go lower, or we look at the current market and go, okay, well, that's a mitigation, and it does trade lower. But then it doesn't trade through it here, but I told you it might act like an inversion, and it does, and it did. English. Okay? Your trade is a dud if you tried to short that bitch, I'll tell you that. So, discount, right? We can cut this in half. Right? And that's exactly what I told you. Discounted end of the inversion. Oh, but John, it didn't trade through. Because it doesn't fucking have to. Okay? All the people on Twitter, wait for a break of structure. Wait for a shift in price delivery. Man, fuck that. If it's at the discount end and it hasn't traded through it yet, that's still tradable. Boom, we're higher. Now again, I'm not gonna say I told you so, because I think we could have went either way. But I pointed out, hey, if we're not bearish, we might be bullish. Let's see if we can wait for some signatures. And I walked you through this bitch. And we got most of the movement, I would say, or at least a good amount of movement during the macro. Not trading back down here, we didn't. We're higher. You see how easy that is? Did I long it? No. Do I like longing this close to the high of the day? I don't. I don't. I was open about that. And I would tell you 10 times out of 10, longing near the high of the day, I don't know about that. I'd rather just wait. But that's how we did it. Okay? You see how hard that is? Do you see how hard price action is? if I were to force, no, the market has to trade lower. No, it doesn't. The market doesn't have to trade lower just because you think that we have a sell model. The market doesn't have to trade lower because we're in overbought conditions because your dumbass indicator says we're overbought. Well, we're higher than where we were. So we're still overbought, huh? Price gravitates towards liquidity, of course, but that's not the only thing. Price doesn't just go for liquidity runs or liquidity sweeps. Two different things. Run is it keeps going. Sweep is a reversal. Okay? So there's a little gem for you. I told you this gap up here is what prevented me from shorting this. Okay? So number one, there was no manipulation. Number two, we have this gap. We have a lack of buy side and sell side price delivery. So again, even if we see a sell model, it might not be that. I talk like this man said, I talk like ghetto Jordan Peterson. Get out of my chat. Get out of my chat with your nonsense. He might be right. I don't listen to myself like you guys do. I'll replay streams sometimes, but I'm not on the opposite end of the screen here. I don't know what I sound like to you guys. Hopefully I sound like I know what I'm talking about. That's all that matters. If you learn something, that's what matters, okay? So drop some twos in the chat if you had some fun today. Even if you didn't trade, I'm not in a trade. Other than my stocks, of course, but I'm not in any futures positions right now. Drop some twos if you guys had some fun, if you learned something today. I told you the difference between a liquidity sweep and a liquidity run. Sometimes I mix up the language when I talk to you, though. I taught you how to look at a inverted mitigation. I taught you how to not be deceived by the perception of a market maker sell model. I taught you how to use inverted concepts. I told you about basically trailing stop loss placement. When I told you this imbalance should not be traded to, that means my stop would probably go to break even. Did it ever get break even? No. Did it get close? Yeah, it did. But that doesn't take your stop. If it doesn't hit your stop, it doesn't take it. Not in the futures market. We're still not at 705. We still might not even get there. But at this point, it's starting to look like that. And so if you need help, I guess, navigating today's price action, just go back and rewatch the stream. This is printing in real time. It's only going to be behind your chart 30 seconds at the most. You know what I mean? So there's no bar replay here. It's foresight. And I'm giving you ideas, seeing if they pan out, and then telling you why I said the things that I said. It's simple. Overlapping concepts. Okay? So with that, be good, be blessed, and I will see you tomorrow. May 6th tomorrow. All right? We're going to play Caramel.
Count me out like sirens, payback for the good times. Right foot in the roses, left foot on a landmine. I'm not gonna be there, tripping on the grapevine. They can sing the words while I cry into the baseline. Wear me out like Prada, devil in my detail. I swear it's getting harder, just to exhale, backed up into corners, bitter in the trying to hurt it every time they take your mind. So stick to me like you're a miracle. Walk beside me till you feel nothing as well. They ask me, is it going good in the garden? Say I'm lost but I beg no pardon. Up on the dice below on the cards, I try not to talk about how it's harder now. Kinda get a mirror side stage, looking sideways. Some of your bizarres getting worse every time they try to shove a real name just to get a rise from me. Acting like I'm never stressed out by the hearsay. Guess that's what I get for trying to hide in the limelight. Guess that's what I get for having 20/20 hindsight. Everybody wants eyes on them, I just wanna hear you sing that top line. You think I mean it, then I understand, but I'm still glad you came, so let me see those signs. Stick to me like you're a man. Walk beside me till you feel nothing as well. I'm falling free off the vinyl parallel. Sweetest dreams are bitter, but there's no one left to tell. Too young to get bitter over it all. Too old to retaliate like before. Too blessed to be caught, I'm grateful, I know. So I'll keep dancing along to the rhythm. The stage is a prison, a beautiful nightmare, a war of attrition. I'll take what I'm given, the deepest incisions. I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't. The stage is a prison, a beautiful nightmare, a war of attrition. I'll take what I'm given, the deepest incisions. I thought I got better, but maybe I didn't.